Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, Earthlings. How are you doing? I hope you are having a brilliant day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are on this wonderful planet. And I'm sorry the video's late today. I am absolutely exhausted. I'm mentally exhausted. And for once, I'm having a drink of wine and there is no water in this, and that's actually a really large wine for me. I have had enough. I have been on the phone with my daughter for 7 hours now. 7 hours, as Graham can witness. It's been going on now since February. Ministry of Justice in Spain. It's not the Ministry of Justice's fault. Finally, after 5 months, and this video isn't all about this, I'm just letting off some steam and then we'll get to Meghan and all that. Finally, after 5 months, we're now in June and this began in February, finally we got a government letter for her with a special code where she can access a thing in Spain called Castaway. It's like in the UK, the thing called Gateway. Well, Gateway is where you can communicate with the government, and it's dead easy. I used to use it all the time. You just go on it, give your email, verify your email, give some ID. It's really quick, really easy. Not here in Spain. Here in Spain, the Spanish government have employed a couple of really negligent and inept and stupid developers who've developed these applications that just don't work. So, well, one's called Clave and the other's called Cliente Firma or something. And we have been fighting those apps all day long and they just don't work. And all we get is a load of HTML code. And we've tried it on desktop, laptop, Android, Apple phones, every browser you can imagine in the UK, here in Spain. It just doesn't work. And then at the end, I checked the reviews and it would appear tens of thousands of people have the same problem. So I've emailed the Ministry of Justice tonight, who are actually brilliant and replied to me really quick, to let them know, sack the developers, get developers who know how to write applications, websites and software and have qualifications with maths. So this, I just can't believe how many months. Or I've got a demon. I've got a demonic entity following me round with this problem. Anyway,
she's got more determination than me. I'd have just.
Oh, I know. My sister who
stuffy.
Just thrown her hands up in the air. She's like, I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. The Ministry of Justice can't believe it here in Spain. The ineptitude. I'm beginning to think that my wrinkle got fired from Marina Bay and went to work for the Ministry of Justice and developed an app. Anyway, let's get on to Meghan. Meghan and Harry apparently are going to shut up.
I don't believe it.
But
they're on a worldwide privacy tour, aren't they, already?
That is the story from, and I've got to say, insider. So
it's all bollocks. I reckon.
In fairness to them, it's not an official, what are they called again? Archewell, Apostolel, Archewell. It's not their official people who've said it, it's an insider. Therefore, and it was apparently released in The Sun, it could be bullshit. So let's...
Well, can I speak?
Yeah, of course.
I heard Harry might be moving back to the UK. Well, another way of putting it is Harry's brought himself on top with his book and his exciting revelations of taking drugs in the US. And the US might throw him out. So yes, he might be thinking of coming back to the UK, but doesn't mean he is coming back. It depends on whether they let him stay or not, doesn't it, really? That's my take on it.
I've got to say, right, I'll say a little bit in defence of Meghan and Harry here, which is unusual for me. A little word of defence. It might be frustrating for them, and I'm sure their lives are very complicated and they're bombarded with problems. If, for any reason, they read the newspapers, which I'm sure they don't, or they watch YouTube channels, which I'm sure they don't, to hear our theories and think, oh, you don't know the half of it, mate. However, I got a comment from, I don't know if it's a Sugar or a Meghan fan, they criticised me first and said, you said you weren't going to talk about Philip Schofield, and then you did. And then you said you're willing to hear both sides of the story, but you don't afford Meghan the same. You don't listen to her side of the story. So I'm just going to answer that, Sugar fan, whoever they are. Yes, I bloody well have. I watched Oprah. I read The Cut. I watched the 6 boring hours, we both did, of the next Netflix. I've read Spare. I have done nothing but hear Meghan's side of the story. But guess whose side of the story I've never heard? Guess whose side of the story I've never heard, because they never complain, never explain. There you go, fans, Sugar.
Meghan and Harry are welcome to come on a live with Fiona at any time if they want to get their side of the story across. And she promises not to interrupt.
That was the other comment that I read. Someone said, oh, you think Samantha Markle watches your channel? When I specifically said, I doubt Samantha Markle watches my channel. It's like they either don't watch the video or they accuse you of the dead opposite of what you've said. And then they said, oh, and you think Meghan and Harry pay attention to you YouTubers? Oh, well, considering in their Netflix documentary, which they themselves edited, they made a big point about YouTubers. Just ask Shallon Lester and the other people.
Duchess
of Narsussex. All the little captions and screenshots of tweets. So Harry and Meghan don't pay any attention to any of us. Really? Oh, it just flies about as thin as...
Maybe they just pay Christopher Boozy to pay attention.
Christopher Boozy.
Anyway, changing the subject, what else have we been doing today? We've been watching...
Yes, binge watching. That's another reason we're late, because in between my 7-hour nightmare with my daughter, I had forgotten all about the wonderful Ben Fogle. I loved Ben Fogle. I'd forgotten how much
He looks like Prince William.
He looks like Princess Diana. He looks more like Princess Diana than Prince William.
She's like, oh, it's Ben Fogle. And I looked up and I thought...
Oh, you were taking the piss
who's Ben
out of
Fogle?
me.
And then the next guy pop up was...
Oh, we didn't say the name of the show.
What was he called? Des Monks. And I said, look, oh no, it's Des Monks. It's Des Monks. I can't believe he's in this. And she's like, who?
We've been watching Castaway 2000. Anybody remember that show? Literally from the millennium, they put them on, and I love this show because my parents lived in the Outer Hebrides in Orinsay on the Isle of Lewis. Isle of Lewis, Isle of Harris, they're attached to each other. For anyone who doesn't know, Western Isle, Scotland, beautiful place, but very harsh weather. And I know it really, really well. My parents bought the house when I was about 2 years old. And every summer holiday we went up there, and then some, and then they retired and they moved up there. So I know it. I know the whole area really, really well. And I watched we watched it when we were on the run in Holland.
We'd only just got... It started at Millennium Christmas.
Yeah.
And then for the whole year they were on this island. Marooned. And but we were on the run then. We'd just done one to Amsterdam, and so we didn't actually watch it. We didn't get to watch it until now. 23 years later, we've just watched. Well, we're in the middle.
Yeah,
we're up to about,
I don't know why I suddenly
I'm up to
today
about
thought
episode 14.
I was so angry at the time. Do you remember in Holland because they used to?
She was going on and on about it. I thought I couldn't give a toss about some people on a desert island. It's not even a desert island. It's the Outer Hebrides.
Oh, beautiful!
But it is really
beaches.
good. I'm actually watching it and I'm really
Beautiful
appreciating
beaches.
it because I'm really into living off the grid. I think it's a brilliant idea and people should do it. Instead of all being herded from your crofts and jammed into cities where you can work for industrialists, you know, and be
Oh, you're such a
exploited.
militant anti-capitalist.
Should go back to the hills and just seek out life again. And I think it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Well, I mean, the reason I raise it with Meghan and Harry is that their latest is they're going to shut up, they're going to go away, and they've got nothing more to tell. And I think that's come from Harry's camp, because I've seen equal articles where people have said they have seen Meghan out and about a lot without Harry, partying and desperately saying to A-listers, please let me in, please let me in, please. So I'm for sure they're splitting up now. I'm for sure. That's my instinct. As you know, it has been for a long time. But I was really frustrated when we were in Holland. They used to put it on the telly every night for about 20 or 30 minutes. And I just lived for Castaway. And then suddenly it stopped and they said, oh, there's been loads of problems with it. And then, of course, we left the house in Holland and apparently they picked up the series again in the summer. So we have been absolutely binging on it and it's brilliant and I love it. And it's the ultimate first reality show.
It was before Big Brother.
Yes, and Big Brother was always so shit, so plastic, so false, so idiotic. This is real life.
And Ben Fogel's been in loads of things since then. I mean, the whole show launched his career really as a television presenter.
I love him. Sorry, just my shoulder's hurting. I'm so
It's all right, darling. About your head's burns because she's been on the phone all day.
I bet yours is having to listen to all that.
Well, I've had to just carry on watching these.
I've missed loads of those episodes. I was at what episode are you up to now?
I've just watched 14. I'm in the middle of 14.
Oh,
I think it was about 18.
I missed 12 and 13 and 14.
You didn't miss anything, it's all the same.
I like the arguments on it actually.
There is a few arguments and things.
That's the best bit, isn't it? Something about studying human nature. But the other thing is it's really...
Made me laugh because we were getting people to bring them whiskey over and they were paying them and getting loads of contraband because they weren't supposed to have it. They're supposed to grow your own vegetables and kill your own pigs and things and live self-sufficiently, you know. But they were all nipping off to the shops on the mainland, well, on the island, which I found quite amusing because it's exactly what I'd do. I'd have a mobile phone stashed somewhere and be paying people to drop booze and whiskey and stuff off.
I find it fascinating.
Leave money in a tin somewhere.
From a point of view of, I have probably seen every single category of the people on Castaway at the Dolphin Safari. And I know if they're going to be the kind of people who love it, who are not into it, the type of things that will annoy them. I can just see it, especially the doctor. The doctor, once in a while, with 99.9% of the customers at Dolphin Safari are absolutely lovely, but there's always one like the doctor who says, it's not good enough, the boat's leaving 1.5 minutes late, it's actually been 1 minute 49 seconds and we still haven't departed, and this is my, and we get that, and I'm watching this doctor and I think I have, over my 13 years at Dolphin Safari, I've met about 5 people and they are just like him. In fact, it could even be him. It's incredible. The moaning and
he's like
complaining.
They put these leaky old sheds up for them. And every time the wind blew, it ripped all the felt off the roof. And they said, you've got to get out and put some peat on the roof to keep it. And I thought to myself, it's on a beach. And I looked around and I thought, sand, shingle and granite rocks. And I thought, well, there's two, sand, shingle. All you need now is bags of cement and you've got concrete. And I think build yourself. The first thing you'd ever do is build a dome out of concrete. Because the boat comes over with supplies, they can order stuff.
Graham.
And no, a 12-foot dome would work. It would be absolutely 100% weatherproof and waterproof. That's what you want. And
what's
then
your theory? You'd mix shingle and sand?
Well, sand and cement is the two main things. But
where's the granite?
Stones, well, you put shingle in with it, that'll make concrete.
But where would the granite come in?
Well, you build it on the granite.
Oh, I see, because you can't break
granite
the
won't
granite.
move, it's really hard. You just get a nice base going and then you build a dome with a window at the top on a slight tilt
They
to
actually
drain
had
the
very
water.
sophisticated pods. I mean, I could do a whole
100 mile an hour winds up there.
Regular.
And
the rest.
Regular.
And the rest.
The highest wind speed ever recorded was on the Scottish Islands. And it was recorded unofficially at 197 miles an hour. That was just before the equipment blew away. So you need a shelter. You don't need a wooden shed all sitting in the shed waiting for the shed to blow off, like the Wizard of Oz, and just go spinning away into the hill. You need to get a concrete dome on rocks that's totally windproof, and then you can work from there. 12 foot is a lot. You know, the diameter of 12-foot circular room, dome. You get a lot of stuff in there,
Even
and you're
that,
totally safe.
Graham, even
Warm,
that,
dry.
no, even that wouldn't work. Trust me, I know it up there. It wouldn't. What you have to do, and if you actually go on Google Images and you look at the houses, you'll see that the majority of them, they find a nook or a cranny which is kind of sheltered by the rocks.
Well, that's true.
Or in a cutaway.
That's true. If you look at villages, they're all in the valley.
Our house was exposed.
That's for two reasons. I'll come back to that. One is because if you build it on top of the hill, it's exposed from the elements, 360 degrees, and you're further away from the water. The streams are usually in the bottom of the valley. I'll shut up. Go on.
No,
it's your channel.
You just did that to me. You literally just...
I was pointing to the tops of the hills. No, but the granite rocks, you're right, you pick a spot. And obviously if you can get it in shelter, but you don't want your dome filling up with water, so you've got to be conscious of where the water's draining. So you put it on top of the rocks, these granite rocks, it's not going to flood, is it? But you don't want to build it too far away from the beach because you need the sand and the shingle to mix with your cement. And then you just build your dome house.
I'm certain there are a lot of
sandbags.
Hebrideans listening to your advice right now.
But it'd be like a black house, but you can put some little windows. You can put some little windows. I could do it. I could build it and show you.
Black house is the best.
And once you've got your safe place, then you can get more adventurous and build fancy things that might or might not blow away.
The point was the doctor wouldn't move in because it was a little bit damp and it
had
was.
to stay in the 5-star hotel on the island until the accommodation was acceptable.
There's no such thing. 5-star, closest to 5-star that I ever understood was the Scarister Hotel.
If you go on YouTube and type in Castaway 2000, don't bother with episode 1, 2 and 3. Go straight to 4. Because that's where they move into the island, that's where it starts.
Anyway.
1, 2 and 3 is all over the shite. They're all running around in Wales and doing assault courses.
Fantastic to hear your enthusiasm. But getting back to Meghan and Harry, it's what I've been saying for ages. It'd be nice if they could take their 2 children and go live with nature. Now, Meghan's never going to want to do that. But I think maybe Harry is the one behind the insider remark that they're not going to say anything else. They're going to shut up. And I reckon it's something to do with King Charles as well. I reckon he's just thought, I've got to say something like that to get some money out of Dad. And I'm actually quite happy to shut up, stop talking, take the children, disappear. But she won't. Trust me, guys. She will not shut up. She won't stop. She'll divorce him. She'll leave him. She'll do her own thing. Maybe she will or will not use the kids, whether they exist or not.
I thought she wants to dig wells in Botswana. And
the legend of Archie and Murchibet, Lilibet, or whatever they're called.
Well, the King won't be there next week. Harry's going to court next week to give evidence. King's gone off to Romania, Transylvania, to go hiking.
Oh yeah, we've got a guy who works at Dolphin Safari called Marius, and he has given me permission to name him. And he has actually agreed for me to interview him, if you guys would like. And he's met Prince Charles loads of times. He comes from that village. And he said Charles goes there all the time. And it's like water off a duck's back. They see him like he's an ordinary dude all the time.
He's bought loads of property over there, apparently.
Yeah,
So Marius has met him loads of times, shook hands with him when he was Prince of Wales. Not since he's been king, obviously, but... And he goes, he comes all the time, he buys property.
Because on the day of the coronation, Marius came in the office and he said, hey, so there's a big deal. My neighbour is having a crown put on his head today. And I didn't really catch on. And I said, really? I didn't know that you had a monarchy there in Romania anymore. And he said, come on, King Charles. I said, right, of course.
He comes from Dracula's village, doesn't he, or something?
Yes, it is the actual. It's very picturesque.
He says you can't rent Dracula's castle, though, but you can rent a few others that are around the same sort of look similar.
Yeah. So maybe Marius will tell us all about Charles. He knows him really quite well.
Yeah, but he doesn't like royals. He's a Bolshevik. He thinks they should all be shot.
But he does
Not
like,
literally.
he likes Charles.
He thinks they should all be... Why should these rich people dominate everything, keep all money, and the peasants have nothing? I see his points, but,
Yeah, it's a little harsh, isn't it?
It's a bit of a... Let's not go there.
But the people in the village do like Charles a lot, and you can rent on Airbnb or something like that. You can rent these.
Well, he said he set up a trust, and it doesn't, the non-profit trust, but he said it costs you fucking thousands to stay there.
No, I looked into it.
You can rent his houses and stay there.
No, they're not that expensive. I actually looked into it.
But he's got this idealistic pick. He's got Poundbury, hasn't he, for one?
No, it's nothing like.
He thinks Transylvania is just how perfect the world should be.
It's nothing like.
He really likes it, apparently, Charlie. He loves it.
I looked into it, and it's not that expensive. It's just I looked into how we would get there and if we would have a gap in our schedule, and it just didn't work out that easily for us. Anyway, so look, big mixed bag tonight of conversation. But basically, I think that Harry has always wanted to be out of the spotlight, basically, and Meghan has always wanted to be in it. And that is a massive conflict of interest in their marriage, isn't it? And I do believe they've separated, and I do believe they will divorce. And I have, for the benefit of sugars, given Harry and Meghan plenty of ear listening to their side of the story. And yes, I maintain I do believe they watch these channels. Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. I mean to say, oh, you think someone that important would watch a stupid YouTube channel? I'm talking like figurative, like a sugar. They're just bloody human beings, all right? They're not gods and goddesses. We are all equal on planet Earth. Some of these fans, they're like, well, if they ever met Meghan and Harry, they'd just drop down dead on the spot from shock.
I think Harry and Meghan should go and stay at Castle Dracula.
I think Harry and Meghan should go and stay on the island of Taransay in the Outer Hebrides.
And I'll build them a dome.
Take a camcorder, and I can imagine Meghan with her hair, pillowbet and lilybucks or whatever they're called, drying out on the bench.
Call me a helicopter, Harry. I'm leaving right now.
On the bench was so full of joy for his dad and his mom and all her poetry and stuff.
Those two losers wouldn't last 5 minutes in the Outer Hebrides.
I'd love to see
them. They just
in the
curl
Outer
up into
Hebrides.
little balls and die.
Oh, and in the meantime, we have had orca beaching, which they do quite frequently. They come up and they go, and they're girls on the Costa del Sol.
They normally do that when they're plucking a seal from the beach.
Yeah.
Eating
Is he looking for a tourist?
They don't have any sunbathers on the beach. No, they don't attack people. They don't.
Well, I wouldn't bloody sunbathe with the
There's not many reports of them doing that anyway.
Anyway, in the meantime, please God, bring this criminal record to a situation to an end. Please God, cast all demons aside. I can't take much more of this. I can see me as a skeleton, me and Faith on the phone, desperately trying to get a stamped criminal record from Spain.
And they'll go, that's not good enough. King Carlos himself hasn't signed it. King Philippe hasn't signed it.
I can see myself going and getting
and
a
if King
stamp
Philippe does sign it in gold pen, they'll go, no, not good enough, it's fake.
Or some sort
forgery, no, not acceptable.
Or some sort of inulto. Anyway, as always, we'd love to hear your moans, your stress, your thoughts, your opinions, and most importantly, your free speech, which, let's not forget, Harry and Meghan want to steal from you.
Good night, and may your God go with you.